Hey guys, my name is Marc. For the last couple of years, I've traveled the world as a fitness model. I have the honor to impact millions of people. I'm always looking for a way to become better, and my goal is to inspire you to do the same. In this new series, guys, we'll get with the top fitness influencer in this space to bring you their story, their challenges, and how they overcame everything that they have done to be where they are today. So the goal and the premise of this series is to empower you guys in your journey with all of their experiences. So it's gonna be awesome. We'll train together, do activities together, and we'll get to know them better. So here we go. What's up, gang? I'm with Maxx Chewning, and in this video, he's just fucking laughing.
Chewning!
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 Chewning! Okay.
It's Chinese, dude. Come on, Chewning.
Chewning.
Great work, Marc.
It was meant on purpose.
That's good. Keep it in.
It's a good intro. Yeah. We'll
Maxx Chewning here.
Yeah. Say it.
Maxx Chewning here.
Oh shit. That sounds so deep and so good.
Yeah,
just do the intro.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I am Maxx Chewning.
Again.
What's up, guys? Maxx Chewning here.
Today we're gonna do some deadlift. He will teach me from point A to point Z because sumo deadlift first off, I never really done it, and he's totally the expert. 165 pounds and he deadlifted 6 plates a day. I couldn't believe that. It's just insane. I was like, oh my god. I tried 5 plates and I failed like miserably.
Scientists are still trying to figure out how I can stay so small.
Yeah. You're like Captain
and
America.
Lift so much weight.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the purpose of the video is just to teach you guys all the basics, and it's been an amazing experience for me. I just learned so much, and I think you will too. And it's gonna be a great video. So why Converse?
So I wear the Converses, one, because they look super cool, and two, with the deadlift, imagine you were deadlifting on a mattress versus a concrete floor. So for me, Chucks are kind of like deadlifting on a concrete floor where your feet aren't going to move around. If you have a lot of cushion in your shoes, whether you're using like NMDs or Yeezys or all these running shoes, your feet are going to be kind of like shifting around a lot more than they would than if you're using something that's just a flat sole. You want to be as close to the floor as possible on deadlifts.
I want it barefoot.
You could do barefoot. Obviously, with barefoot, you might not have as much grip. So if you just wore socks or deadlift, obviously you might drop the weight on your foot. Not the shoes are gonna help that much, but people do deadlift in socks or bare feet. That's obviously ideal as well. But with the shoes, especially if you do sumo, because you're pushing your feet out, you still want that rubber sole, so you're gonna have some grip. I'd say conventional. If you did conventional and you were barefoot, it'd be a lot less of a worry that. Because if you're on like a wooden platform and you're barefoot or in your socks, you're just gonna slide.
Max will just teach me on how to do proper sumo deadlift, because I did a video and I said, "Hi Max, wanted to deadlift.
He
like
did a
every
deadlift
month,
and a thing.
And
I was
then
like,
he just replied like, you need to do this and this and this. I was like, oh yeah, I suck.
yeah, I think at the time your like hands were like super narrow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things people have. They grip it like right in the middle because they're unsure. But I have like an in between. Like my sumo is not even as wide as a lot of people do. I just have like almost like a half sumo where my feet, like my hand placement is the same for conventional or sumo. I just have my feet, instead of being right inside my hands, I just have them right outside my hands.
Okay.
So your foot width is really gonna be a preference. I would say one thing is like angle your feet out slightly, like that. I usually use this line on the bar, this knurling, to kind of cut. I kind of like cut like right in the foot.
Okay.
That's like my placement. So when I run up, that's how I know my feet are at the right position. Because like that line is right going on in the middle.
That's a great tip. Never thought about it.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay, and then just here.
Yeah, and for this, so you want the bar like a little bit like when you're standing up, you want it about like right around here. So when you're standing up all the way, you want it like here. So then when you go down, then when you actually squat down, then it's like pretty much right there.
Okay. So
But if you were to start with the bar too close, then when you go, it's gonna your shin's just gonna hit the bar.
Okay, and shoulder width.
I just try for my hands, you just want to go straight down because if you're going in or you're out, like you're gonna lose a lot of your pulling power because you're pulling at an angle.
Okay.
And it's gonna put a lot less strain on your shoulders and whatnot, and potentially the injury. So just always like hands just straight down.
Holy shit. I'm learning a lot today.
There may be some people that go like wider or narrower, but if you're like newer to it, like I would recommend to just go straight down. That's what I do. And obviously, everything's gonna be stronger in a straight plane.
Yeah. Okay.
3 power tips you can give to people that want to achieve their goals and also maintain them.
So I guess my first tip would be definitely to establish a goal. A lot of people kind of go in, they don't really have any sort of structure with whatever venture they're doing, whether it be like in your gym or you're starting a business. They kind of like, they want to get to a certain point, but they just never kind of like set up a path to success and a path to get there. So with lifting, it could be like you want to get stronger, but you like refuse to get on programming. You refuse to get on these stepping stones that get you there. The other thing is to have that confidence and believe in yourself, what you can do. Because a lot of time that I go into like the deadlift and whatnot, it's so much of a mental game. Like if you go in and you already are thinking in your head like, this is going to be heavy, this is going to be hard, I really hope I get this lift. Like you've already essentially set yourself up for failure. So you definitely never want to do that. And the last thing is to always stay humble with whatever you're doing, because a lot of times you overreach when you're lifting, you overreach in life, and you kind of forget to kind of take the course and take things slow and be in things for the long haul and not try to try to take shortcuts.
So we've added 1 plate. I'll start doing a little bit less reps, but still higher than like my actual sets. So I'll probably do like 5 to 6 reps. I don't have a specific number I go for each time. It's all by feel, but it's always around like that 3 to 7 range for warm-ups, and still start getting into like 3 plates, 4 plates. Then it goes down to like doubles or triples or singles up until my final set. So, but the key with whether you're warming up or you're at your top set, you always want to focus on power. So don't treat your warm-up as like super light. You still want to think as if it's a heavier weight and explode off the ground, have that power, keep your form well, and it'll carry over to all your lifts. Like 2 more. One thing I was telling Mark is that when you're trying to critique someone's form or whatnot, a lot of people think, oh, just throw 135 or 1 plate on, but really, until you start getting into a little bit of the upper percentages where their form can actually break down, that's where you really can critique, because it's easy if you have any sort of strength, I guess, where 135 is really easy. It's always great to have perfect form on 135, but can you have perfect form or good form at least on 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates? Because you want to perfect your form as you go up, not just master it at the lower weight, and then when you get to the heavyweight, you break down.
Also, I think it's just like harder. A natural thing that like the human body always want to do as less as possible to have the best outcome, so the greater outcome.
Well, your body, that's how you'll find out your bad form, is because your body will always, you'll always get into your strongest position by nature. So when you have bad form, it'll be very easy to spot because your body is just going into the positioning of where it's the strongest. So if your hips are rising up, your hips are rising because your body's like, I'm the strongest at this position. And you have to kind of teach yourself and, you know, kind of reteach your body how, like, I want to be stronger in a lower hip position and with my chest up instead of like completely over the bar.
What would be like one mistake that you have done that you wish that you have changed faster? Let's say like your ego was in the way, or something that you think that people should avoid to do because it was like a good mistake that you made that you were like, oh shit, this is
I'd
good.
probably say letting other people dictate like where I should be in, you know, with my lifts or with anything really. A lot of people, especially when you put yourself out there on social media and whatnot, people not only do they expect certain things from you, they kind of like tell you where they think you should be or what you should be doing, and you're like, oh, maybe I have to do this, even though you're on some sort of plan, and then you kind of veer off in this other lane when like you were doing well. It just may take you a little bit longer to get to where you want to be. But a lot of people, there's just so many opinions and, you know, assumptions coming in. You know, they don't know your situation, whether it be like, you know, your programming, what you have going on in life, and they just see like one thing and they don't know the external factors. So a lot of times, if you just allow other people and things can get in your head and make you change a course when really you're doing well, like you were almost at this point, but because you did this, now it's gonna like take you even further back because you tried to do something that was outside of like your regimen. I just kind of realized that it all comes down to me. It all comes down to like, you know, my progress and what I want out of my life and my lifting and everything. That like, you know, I am the master of my own destiny. I'm not gonna let other people kind of influence me to a point where it's gonna change my path. So once I kind of like push these external, whether it be like negative or just people always giving their opinion, I just kind of push them out, and I'm like, you know, I think you can listen to what other people things have to say, but at the end of the day, I think everyone's kind of like journey is different with everything that you're doing. So you should always kind of focus on yourself and focus on your own path.
So Max will never bounce the bar. We'll always.
Yeah, I don't. So they're called tap and go reps. So a lot of people do them. That's where you're just like 1, 2, 3. For me, the deadlift, when you're trying to go for a max rep, it's, you know, straight off the floor. There's no head there. So I think if you want to train that way, it's gonna be the best. So I always do stop and go reps. I literally never, ever, ever do tap and go. And I advise you all too, especially when you do like powerlifting or get into, you know, strength training. Just get used to doing stop and go. And there might be some people out there that there's a good reason for tap and go. I just haven't found it yet. Woo! 4 plates is when I start using chalk. Is when I put on my belt. I said in one of my videos recently, but like, when my max was 5 plates and now it's like over 6 plates, I still put my belt on at the same point. It's kind of like a mental cue for me. It's like, all right, the weight's getting a little heavier. You can still smoke it, but it's just like, now it's time to really snap on the, you know, the focus and the mind game, because I think it's a lot for mental for me. So
it's like getting into zones. It's like,
yeah, it's kind of like I'm a big, like half the reason why I even take pre-workout is like, it's just like, now I'm ready to start my workout. It's like it's the mental cue, and the belt for me is it's a big part of that.
Wearing tights.
Not only do they look really cool, it's the same kind of idea with the competition. So when the weight gets heavier and you get into a point where you're trying to grind it up, where you're getting to that max effort, you don't want the bar to have any friction and that be the reason that you fail to lift. So if you're wearing like joggers like Marc is, there's a potential. It's not always going to happen, and I might be overthinking it.
Yeah, but it's like the small details for a professional.
Yeah, exactly. So if the bars get to here, and let's say you're wearing joggers and it caught on the fabric, it's going to get hung up a little bit, and that's just one more thing you have to pull through. Whereas if you're wearing like, you know, tights or like a singlet or something like that, the idea is that there's a lot less chance of it getting caught in your fabric, and you just slide up. So that's like the small percentage of things. Like for the average deadlifter, if you're maybe just like doing it like occasionally, it might not be a big deal. But if you're really trying to push yourself and you don't want anything getting in your way of hitting those max lifts, it might be one more kind of tool to add to your bag, you know? So I'll get a lot of questions on my little wacky run-up thing. So I always walk back here, kind of look at the bar, and I do this weird kind of like run up, and I set up. And it's just like a mental cue for me. A lot of people will go down, you know, take a bunch of deep breaths. Maybe they have their hands on the bar the entire time. They're getting their body tight. It's just kind of what works best for you. The good thing for me is that it helps me not overthink the lift. So when I run up, I'm like right here, I'm like, it's go time, right? Whereas a lot of people kind of get down here, and I feel like you can start doubting yourself. You're like, man, this is gonna be heavy. But the bad side of how I do things is when I go like this, and as soon as I go down, that's essentially where my hands are gonna be placed. So there's usually about happens like 5% of the time, is I'll go down and my hands will get out of position, and at that point I have to then move my hand over, which kind of throws me off. But the idea is that as soon as I go down, as soon as I touch the bar, it's going right back up. So it helps me not overthink the lift. Not saying it's the right way, I'm not saying it's the wrong way, but that's why everyone has like kind of their little deadlift ritual. Some of them are stupid like mine. It is what it is.
Guys, I just fell. I tried my best. It's like I tried like my second time I'm doing sumo deadlift. The first time was when I sent story to Max. I was like, I'm getting there, bro. We'll do the nice.
So it's not only first time attempting the weight, but it's also like just going into a different stance. Like sumo, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
Like it's rare that you'd switch over like in one session and be able to hit the exact same weight. Like it's just.
So that was 495, and the most that I lift ever was 485 while I was deadlifting, and now I only deadlift like probably twice, maybe 3 times a year. So, but I'll get it. Like,
Yeah, 100%, man.
Fuck.
It takes some time, man. You'll get it for sure.
Show them how it's done.
We'll try.
Instincts going no, looking bad like a bat with an eye patch. All black through the woods with a backpack and a lit match. Spark one time, get the whole city looking like a dark shade of orange when I burn it down. What it is, what it do, whole clique getting live on the talk of the town. Let my city had a mouth and it wouldn't shut up. But I got all in my sights, picking them off, taking them out, looking like daylight.
Let's go.
So again, the bad thing about that setup is when I go like this, wherever my hands are, and with the deadlift, if the idea is to put the bar right by your fingers, right? Because with that one, because I'm just going down and I'm rushing it, right here you see the skin starting to rip a little bit. That's because the bar was too far down in my hand. So then when you pull the bar, it's gonna shift up, right? So when you do that, that's where you get potential of hand rips. So ideally, it'd be right there every single time. But it's one of those things I've tried to shift away from it, but I always go back. My opinion on straps, I think straps have their place, but if you want to build up your grip strength, I think not using straps for as long as possible is gonna be your friend. The only time I will ever use straps is if I really need to continue my set, but I've completely torn my hand, it's bleeding and I wouldn't be able to, or I would just stop at the point. But another thing is because of my setup and how quickly I go down, straps, I'd be sitting down here, wrapping it up, and I'd be getting in position, I'd be overthinking it, so that's why I don't personally use them. They do have their place, but for me, if you really want to build up your grip strength, using straps because you can't grip it is not going to increase your grip strength, you know?
What would you say to someone who's about to give up? Can be like on their goal.
Ever forward. That's like that's the whole motto. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, like I've always said, like, you know, what we're doing is a marathon, not a sprint. Like there's so much longevity, and you're gonna have so many setbacks, and you're gonna have so many downfalls. Things are gonna come up, whether it be in the gym. Maybe you're trying to hit a certain point in your physique, you're trying to hit a certain point in your strength, and you're following all the right steps. But you get to a point where, like, you know, if you followed everything, I should be at this thing, and you're still not there, and you get demotivated, and you're like, maybe I'm not cut out to do this thing. Maybe I'm never gonna be successful at this. Maybe I'm never gonna be strong enough to hit this lift. And at the end of the day, like, you know, everyone has their own journey and everything. Like, you know, we're in this for the long haul. We're gonna be lifting for a long time. You're gonna be, you know, you're gonna have businesses to start, businesses to fail, endeavors, relationships, whatever, friendships even. And at the end of the day, just understand that like everything has its purpose in life, and everything is kind of set up, whether it be succeeding or failing, to kind of get you to the end point. I'm a big believer in things happen for a reason with everything. So,
was it always like that, or is it just something that you developed like along the way?
I wouldn't say it's always. I think a lot of people get pessimistic and they get down on themselves, and especially, like I said earlier, when you start listening to external voices and external things telling you where you should be, and you're doing this wrong, and, you know, if this was me, I would have done this thing differently. And at the end of the day, you know, as long as you have your head on your shoulders correctly, you know, and you have that positive, forward-thinking mindset, I think you can do great things. I never really get upset at failures anymore. I'm just like, it's a learning process. So, You know, whether it's an endeavor you try, it fails, you learn from it. Whether it be in the gym, you try a specific program, you try a certain way to attack something, and it doesn't work out for you. Like, okay, now I know that this isn't the best thing for me. Let me rework it. Let me find out, like, analyze why it failed, analyze what let me down. You get knocked down, you know, 100 times, you get back up 101. It's like, you know, at every single aspect in your life, like, just always understand that, like, you have to continue to progress. You have to continue to push and continue to want more and more and more, because at the end of the day, like, you know, you're not going to succeed at everything. I guarantee it. Like, you, me, everyone that we surround ourselves with, you know, everyone sees that it's just like everything's going well for them. There's been, you know, 100 things that have gone wrong that have helped them get to the point where they are now, and that'll help them continue to be even more successful in the future.
One thing you learned today?
You gotta be humble about the lift. You gotta be a student in life, in the gym, and I just feel like I tried a lot, and I've tried more than my PR this time. And I'll just call it a day for today, and just keep practicing at it. Like, I've deadlift probably like 3 times in a year, and over the last 3 years, probably total 7 times. So.
What was the best tip you got?
The best tip I got, I think, is the alignment of like my feet, the way that the position with the bar, and also the way that he was like doing his overload, and also like just being patient with it. Sometimes I always want to push my body to the maximum, but I might injure myself. I always like keep going. So thank you, Max.
Deadlift is that, like, it'll check you fast. Like, it'll be like, you're not ready, and I'm not gonna let you. Like, you're not gonna be able to cheat it up. You can't, like, there's very little you can do. Besides the hitching, like, there's little you can do. Like, when it's not your day, it's not your day. And I'll know that quickly. Like, a lot of times I'll get into training, and like, if I'm not in the zone, like, if I get to a heavier weight, I'll just know. I'm like, it's not my day. Don't try to hurt myself. Don't try to like overexert. Like, it's just not there. So
I wanted to put it up for the video, but again, don't do it for attention. Do it for yourself.
They're still waiting for some sort of invitation. It's never coming along. Oh no, you get this what you get.